Hello. I hope that you've enjoyed this seminar so far and you've hopefully got lots of useful information out of that you can now refer to whenever you need. Unfortunately, we lost the other half of the video for some reason. We just couldn't get it off the GoPro. Something went wrong, but that's okay because I wanted to jump in here anyway. And I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail with the application of that color. So what I'm going to do is actually show you here with a mannequin head, just with me, instead of the camera angle from the audience, because I know that it wasn't really that great. So let's go into a bit more detail here now. I do actually have the mannequin head that I was using for that seminar. So she's the exact same one, so you'll be able to see the finished result as well here. And I'm just going to reapply it basically and just, give you a little bit more information on that. And before I begin, I thought I may as well show you how I do my mixing as well, because that was something that I didn't really cover in that seminar. So let's get to the mixing. So like I mentioned earlier in the seminar, I like to use a range of different colors. I really am not brand specific. I like to intermix everything, and 9 times out of 10 I will intermix a bit of conditioner as well, whether it be to just help me adjust the consistency, because I find especially with these Joico intensities they're quite thick. So I might just put a few pumps in just to kind of help with the consistency, make it a bit easier for me to spread, or I might use a lot more of the conditioner and use it as a white to actually dilute the color that I'm making. So I'll show you this yellow. I usually like to dilute this yellow like about 50% because I find that it's actually a very orangey kind of yellow. So I'm going to just put a couple of pumps of conditioner in there, mix that up and see if I like it. So that's about 50-50 dilution with conditioner, and you can see it's yellow. It looks a bit more yellow like in the phone, but to me it actually still looks a bit orangey, so I'm going to go back for more conditioner. This mannequin head that we did do it a bit more on the pastel side of things too. So I might just pastelize my colors a little bit because I don't want it to be too vivid. I sort of want to keep it a bit more on the pastel side. So that's my yellow. And I just generally work my way around the color wheel or just with everything. So the next color that I'm going to mix up is going to be orange. This orange was Pravana. Not sure where it's gone. But it is actually Pravana orange. I just love using these little Panic tubs for like product wastage. So rather than rinsing my colors down the drain, I'll put them in these tubs and I'll actually save them and reuse them. So that is pretty much all Pravana orange in there. And I like these little brushes too, because they fit in and you can kind of use them as a scoop, opposed to a big brush like this. Oh, there's hair on it. Which I do love using like for my application, but it won't fit in. So I like my little brushes. And now all I'm going to do is just scoop that out. Having a look at it. So it's quite a bright orange, and this would definitely already be diluted. The Pravana orange is so pigmented. Add a little bit more. Lovely. And I'll just stick that next to my yellow. And yeah, that's just how I like to place things, is in the correct order of the color wheel from the very beginning, just so that I don't get lost. So the next color that I would do, if I were to be following the color wheel, would be red. But I don't like to use red in my rainbows. 90% of the time I like to use pink, just personal preference of mine. So I'm going to put pink here. And again, I have got my little Panic jar that's already been pre-mixed, but I dare say this would have been a combination of these two and conditioner. That's usually my go-to favorite pink formulation. So to save me time, I'll just use what I've already got in here. That looks fairly pastel. So I might just add a little bit of the magenta. Just like a dot. Okay, that came out a little more than just a dot. So that's more like it. That's like a bit more of a magenta-y kind of pink. Next, I want a purple. Yep. Using leftovers first. I hate product wastage. This is usually my favorite purple that I like to use is this Privana Violet. It is so pigmented. It's like too pigmented. Like I find if I use it on its own, it goes really dark because it's so concentrated, but I'd always rather a product that's more concentrated. That way I can dilute it, not the other way around, you know. And I'm adding heaps of conditioner to this. Because you can see that purple, it looks really dark. Yeah, it is. It's just so concentrated. Purple is naturally going to appear darker anyway, though. So mix that up to a nice violet. I think I'm going to just add a little bit of magenta in this because I do find this Privana purple is very blue based. And sometimes if you dilute it a lot, but when you put it on blonde hair, it will actually go a bit bluey and a bit patchy in areas. So I like to just put a little bit of red in there just to stop it from doing that. And just to change the color of the purple. That's more like it. So here's what we got so far. We've got yellow, orange, pink, purple. Next down the line will be blue. I've got a couple of favorite blues. I used to love using the Arctic Fox Aquamarine. That was like my favorite blue, but at the moment it's a bit hard for us to get hold of that in Australia. So I've got my Privana blue. I've also got my Adore Aquamarine, which I really like, especially the consistency. These little gels, they're really cool. But yeah, like I said, using my leftovers first, but that would be what that would be made up of, is those colors. I just love having my little pots, and that way I never get color wastage. I must say, I haven't actually had Manic Panic in a long time, but the thing that I love about this brand is the transparency. Like legit, you can actually see the color through there. I love that. The amount of times I've bought colors like this and thought it's going to be that color on the label and then actually had a look at it and it's not like that. So that's the thing I love about anything that's got like a clear packaging, is you know what you're going to get. You can quite literally see the color. So if I ever make a color brand, that's what I'm doing. And add a little more. That's your aquamarine. Let's add some more conditioner too. Alright, and then our last color we need is green. Got a little bit in my leftover tub, so I'll use that first. I'm not really too sold on any green in particular. I haven't actually found a kind of green that I really love. So what I've been doing is just using this, which is just a plain green. It's called Kelly green. And I have been mixing that with a bit of this as well to get that really nice emerald green. And conditioner, of course. It's always adding conditioner. Yeah, so if you were ever curious as to how I mix, that's what I do basically. I don't like to use scales for my creative work. I really am just a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I mix it up like to the eye, and that's about it. I use lots of different brands. I use conditioner. I think I mentioned in the seminar about Olaplex. If you want to use any kind of plex, you can put the number 1 or the number 2 in with the direct dyes as well. And then while it's processing on the hair, you're going to get a treatment as well. Just like an extra service that you can charge for. And especially good if the hair is really screwed. That's better. Try and find the right lighting for you guys. So this is the mannequin head. This is the exact same mannequin head that we used for the seminar. I have straightened her all out so that you could actually see the placement. So this is what the halo prism looks like when it's not, you know, styled and curled and everything. She has also faded out quite a bit since we did that color, that was in September, and I believe it is April now, so like a long time ago. Yeah, so it's like you will see the placement a little bit. That is normal, and that is something that I like to just explain to my clients. I think I did cover this in the seminar, but I'm just showing you again just so that you can see up close. And as you already may have noticed, when we started applying this, we actually over direct the hair all the way over the front of our client's face, and we just paint our colors on like this. So if you pull it all forwards, you will see that it's very patchy and not ideal, but because she doesn't wear her hair that way, we paint them over directed, but then when the hair goes back like this and falls naturally, we get that nice, like graduated placement. So yeah, that's essentially how we do the halo prism. I'll just show you quickly before I start that application so you can see the pinwheel technique that we did. That's your pinwheel. It's a bit hard to envision. I would highly recommend doing a whole head like this. In my handbook that I have attached here for your download, you've got a digital copy. If you have a look through that, I've actually got a few diagrams where I show you a little bit more detail on the pinwheel and some process and after photos. So I highly recommend doing that. Here's where you can see that I've taken those sections sort of on the diagonal. It is really hard to envision though, because it's only been done here on a half a head just for the sake of training purposes. So I'd highly recommend that you actually try this technique on a whole head. While I'm here, I just want to go over and just show you again how I would apply just a basic vivid color. Just show you a few tips up close. So I know I did cover a lot of this in the seminar, but I just want to show you again just up close so that you can really see, because it's this simple stuff that really trips people up. It's the simple stuff that is the most important thing when it comes to vivids. So I like to stress the importance. I'm just going to go over my pink section. It's not the neatest sectioning in the world, forgive me. Just for the sake of training. Okay, so first thing that I'll do with my section is usually just apply the perimeter. Mannequin head's shaking all over the place. Then I'll break it open. Paint inside the roots there, or if it's a finer section, then you won't really need to do that. Take my hand to the back of it. So once I've painted the roots on, then I'll put my hand at the back, and I'm going to just swipe this color back and forward, opening up all that hair and really making sure that you get inside. Now, what you don't want to do, where a lot of people go wrong, is they'll apply all the color here. I really want you to see this. And then they'll get their hands and pull this color down. Do not do this with vivids. Do not ever do this with vivids, because direct dye, we know that as soon as this dye touches the hair, it's on and it's grabbed. What you're doing by doing that is just moving around that conditioner that kind of sits on the outside. If we can have a close up. See that whitish kind of stuff? That's not going to do anything. So when you apply all that color really thoroughly at the roots and then you drag it down, that's when you see vivids that start looking patchy. That's when you see the color hasn't grabbed as much on the ends, and that is why. So it's very important to avoid that. Go back into your color bowl, grab more color, and then come back and reapply it like that. And then when you're finished, grab more color, like fresh color from the bowl, and go over those ends like that. Once I've got the color applied all the way onto the hair, I've applied it, then I'll take my hands, and what I'm doing here is really just making sure that I've got it through. I'm opening it up, and I'm just kind of looking for any parts that I may have missed, rather than relying on my hands to rub this color in. Yeah, so that is the one thing that's like really, well, not the one thing, but like one of the most important things with Vivids, and that's where I see a lot of people go wrong, is with that application. If you're doing pastels, like pastels are quite hard, so I might do the double application. Again, I think I did already cover this in the seminar, but it's really important stuff and I just want to cover it again. So if you thought maybe there were a few little bits in there that you'd missed, just wipe off that excess product. I don't have much because I haven't really applied it too well. So like wipe off that excess product, then go back in for your double application. Only if you need to. I don't do it like this every time. It's a good thing for you to know how to do, you know, if you need it or if you're concerned that maybe it's not covering properly. So yeah, just go back in, fresh color on my brush and just double application. Like be thorough, especially on those parts that are around the front of the face and the top of the head, where if you make a mistake, they are going to see it. Like, not that you want to make a mistake, but at least if you were to make a mistake in the back, it would be less noticeable than if you were to make a mistake in the front. So just being thorough is like really the golden rule here. And I mean, just doing it, guys, like you've got to just do it. There's nothing that I can teach you. There's nothing that I can show you that is ever going to compare to you just getting a few models and getting in there with your hands and actually having a feel. So please, if you can take anything from this, it's just, I want you to do it. You have to do it.